Hey, what's up guys, Serpentine19 here, giving my thoughts on the Microsoft conference at E3 this year. So I'm just going to go through the list of the games that were announced or shown and give my opinions on whether they were part of the good, the bad or the average side of the conference. So let's start off with the first game shown, Call of Duty. This had a little bit of CGI at the start, but then jumped into some of the gameplay, and the start of the gameplay kind of reminded me of the Killzone Shadowfall trailer from last year's E3, with the not the section where they were inside the building, but the massive cityscape. It kind of gave the impression that you'd be able to walk around a lot of the city, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I have a feeling, being a Call of Duty game, it's going to be very much a linear path. The grenade that they showed, that's something I took out of it. You were able to switch from smart grenade, normal frag grenade, flash grenade and all that in the one, and that was pretty cool. The Scorpion tanks, actually a whole lot of the military hardware they showed, which was all futuristic. Yeah, Scorpion tanks, weird drone cloud things, they were pretty interesting. But yeah, I would put the Call of Duty section in the average. Being a Call of Duty game, it's kind of very similar to the previous Call of Duty games, with those slight changes to fit the theme that they chose. Forza 5. This was on the bad side. There wasn't really much said about the game, except we provided a whole lot of cars for free to the game, and that the Nürburgring is going to be coming out for next gen. When was it? September 30th, and that it was going to be in 1080p. Not really that interesting. It was kind of like oh, okay, that's nice. Moving on to Evolve. This was average leaning on bad, mainly because it was just a trailer, not because the game looks bad, but because, yeah, it was just a really quick trailer. Surprised they weren't on the stage giving a playthrough, because a lot of people are excited about that game. But yeah, it did show a different evolution of the monster though, which was this kind of octopus tentacle sea version of it, which is interesting because that's one of the things I thought that game would struggle with, is its monster variations. But if they're showing that, then there's obviously two currently, as the one with the forest we've seen before. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Unity. I put this on the bad, mainly because a lot of the animations, a lot of the gameplay, it all looked the same. It's Assassin's Creed, prettier and bigger, that's it. The crowd in it was massive, and that was actually kind of impressive. A lot of character models on the screen at once. The co-op was nice to see. That's actually probably one of the better things I've seen from the franchise, is the kind of co-op single player gameplay, story mode co-op, sorry. But yeah, it's pretty much just a pretty reskin with a lot. I'm surprised they didn't change some of the animations just to try and change it up a bit, but yeah, whatever. That was Assassin's Creed Unity. Dragon Age Inquisition. This was just a pretty quick trailer. I put it on the average because I hadn't really seen much of this game before, so this is kind of the first time I've seen some of it. And what I took from it was that a lot of the landscapes were beautiful. They were big, they had a lot of stuff in them, and they just looked really, really nice. That's pretty much all I've got to say for that, because it was just a really short trailer. Sunset Overdrive. This trailer was actually brilliantly done. It started off with, you've probably seen it already, but yeah, it started off with a sort of like modern military setting, and then the main character guy from Sunset Overdrive breaks in and kind of rags on the whole modern military shooter thing, and they're kind of changing the game with all their color and gameplay and stuff. So that was a great trailer, and it's definitely on the good side. They actually showed a bit of the gameplay. What I took from it was very fast paced with all the rail sliding and stuff. Kind of had this arcadey vibe. Like there's random trampolines all over the place, and you can jump on them and flames shoot up in the sky and stuff. So yeah, definitely very arcadey and very fast paced. And that's expected out in October 28th. There's actually a date on that one. The next game, Dead Island 3, the arcade remix. Sorry, this is on the bad side. I had no idea what this was about. It didn't explain itself very well. The trailer itself didn't show anything. Like, it showed the characters from previous Dead Island games, but otherwise, yeah, that was kind of meh. Dance Central. This is actually on the average, mainly because they kept it really, really quick. Obviously, it's not really that big. Well, it's probably a big game, but the audience watching E3 probably isn't interested in it. So they kept that really quick, and I really liked that, so they moved on. Fable Legends, the next game. This I put on the average. I wasn't too sure about this game. The gameplay seemed pretty cool, but a lot of the same stuff was happening. There wasn't much variation in the moves. It had this kind of stylistic look to it, and they tried to match that with this like comedic banter going between the characters through the play. They showed off that you can play the villain, which kind of had this dungeon land gameplay where you've got this top view and you can place stuff everywhere for the heroes to take on. A multiplayer beta was announced for this fall, so yeah, there's that. So yeah, that was on my average, because yeah, I'm just not sure what to take from that quite yet. Project Spark was next up. This was on the average side. The game, I think, is terrific for the Xbox One. It's mainly because of the modding community. Well, yeah, I'd call it a modding community behind it. You've got this massive range of games, all completely different genres, and yeah, it's just a really good game for the Xbox One. They didn't really show anything new. Yeah, it was just kind of like, hey, Project Spark's still here, we still have it. So yeah, that was on the average. Ori and the Blind Forest, which was this kind of indie platformer game. This was on my good side of the conference, mainly because a lot of the art in it was just stunning. The massive owl, I believe it was an owl, it looked incredible. The gameplay looked, well, a platformer, lots of bright colors, obviously a very like artistic game with really dark scenes for some things and really bright and colourful scenes for others. Moving on, Halo 5. This was in my bad list, mainly because there was no Halo 5. What they used the Halo time up for was announcing the Master Chief Collection Edition, which is Halo 1 to 1 through 4, which is going to be coming out on Xbox One. And they spent way too much time on this for pretty much what is not even really a remake, it's just a remaster. It was too much time, and they even showed gameplay from a remastered Halo 2, and I thought that was just a bit unnecessary. And the bit they did show of Halo 5 was unfortunately this really quick CGI trailer. It was broken up with a couple of seconds of black screen in between every shot that they had, so you couldn't really see what was happening. They are saying it's going to be running on at 60 frames per second. I'm not sure if that's at 1080p, but we'll see how they go with that. Obviously the Xbox One not currently being able to do it with games at the moment. Next up, pardon me, is Inside, which is from the Limbo creators, which was a very successful game on Xbox. It was available on all platforms, but it was very successful on the Xbox. What I took from this was pretty much a 3D version of Limbo. Like, it's a platformer, it's got a little bit more colour into it, a bit more style to it, like the animations and all of that kind of stuff has a lot more like style. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for that. That was on the average side. Then the conference took a side for indie games. They just showed a whole bunch. Can't really talk about them all individually because there were a lot and they were showing them fairly quickly. After that though was one of the games I'm probably most excited for, and it's probably not because of the trailer they showed, but Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now what they showed at the conference was just a CGI trailer, kind of like a backstory CGI trailer. Yeah, but what makes me most excited for this game is because I played the previous one and I had such a great time with it, I'm really excited what they can do with the next one. Especially seeing what they showed at the end of this trailer in this massive, like, crystallized bluish kind of tomb that she was in. It looked really cool. So yeah, that was on my good side. Next up was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. They showed quite a lengthy gameplay preview of this. What I took from it was this really cool tracking system. They had that in the previous game, but it's made a little bit different here, where you actually have to shoot whatever creature you want to track with a special crossbow. At least I think you have to use the crossbow. I'm not too sure on that. The combat, really cool stuff with the way you can cut people in half, cut their arms off and stuff like that, that we've seen in previous screenshots as well. Really excited to get my hands onto that. That will be pretty awesome. But pretty much the game's a lot prettier, a lot bigger from what I can tell. Like, the city that they walk in seemed to be a lot bigger than the small towns that were in Witcher 2. But yeah, so that was on my good side. Next up was Phantom Dust, which I have on the average side. They played this out like it was a really popular title in back in the day. I can't remember this game at all. It was just a quick CGI trailer. They seem to have some kind of powers. That's pretty much all I took out of it. There wasn't really much else explained. Next up, The Division. This is on my good side, and it keeps going up on my good side every time I see gameplay of it. This game is looking great. So yeah, they showed a pretty lengthy gameplay preview with this game as well. Yeah, just the UI elements of this game are incredible. The map being on the floor and you can zoom in and it's all in-game instead of having this pop-up HUD come up. It looks awesome. You can recreate like scenes, like if there's been an incident you can scan it and it kind of visualizes it in 3D kind of digital thing, and that was really cool. They showed off some of the skills and how quick they could be changed out if you're in the middle of combat, and once again they showed off the engine, the Frostbite engine. I can't remember what the engine's called, but yeah, they had like these really cool paint effects where there was paint tins on our side, and if you shot them the paint would go splashing onto the car behind it or whatever was behind it. And yeah, everything in that game is very impressive. Next up, Scalebound. This was very interesting. I'm pretty sure this is a new IP. I haven't heard of it before. It was a CGI trailer, but what was most interesting was the kind of Monster Hunter-esque look to it. All the things you're fighting are massive, at least like 10 feet tall or high, or taller or something like that. The whole Scalebound thing was that you have this kind of pet or mount or something, which is a dragon, and you're pretty much fighting alongside your dragon against these massive creatures. And yeah, that game just looked really, really interesting. It kind of had this a slight tinge of stylization to it, but not too much. It still kind of kept a slightly realistic look with the monsters, but yeah, the main character definitely had this stylistic vibe going on with it. And finally, the last game that was shown was Crackdown, which was on my average list. This was kind of, I haven't actually seen the old games of this before, so this was kind of new to me. So basically what I took from it was a super stylized kind of GTA, more Saints Row kind of game, which was just full of ridiculousness. Yeah, this game looks interesting, but there wasn't enough in the trailer for me to have a solid opinion of it. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be some kind of crib system or like a penthouse system in GTA. There's going to be vehicles. Yeah, that's pretty much all I could take out from it. Ridiculous weapons and stuff like that, yeah. So that was on the average side. So yeah, that was the Microsoft conference. Something else to add. In between most of the big reveals or stuff like that, there were these weird little interviews that were kind of reassuring you that Xbox was on the side of gamers and that the conference was about games. And while it was a little bit of a cheese play by them, I actually really enjoyed it. It was kind of cool seeing a whole lot of developers. They even had the two main actors from Silicon Valley giving their getting asked questions and stuff. So yeah, that was actually a really cool part of the conference, if it was a little bit cheesy, but no, I liked it. So yeah, that was the Microsoft conference at E3 for 2014. Like, rate, and subscribe, and I believe, I'm just checking here, the EA press conference is next, so expect a video out soon for that one. Alright, I'll see you guys later.